They were worried about cold butt. That's to bring the heated.
Oh, look at that reaction. Look at that.
What do you say? What do you know? It's the full Monte Sports Show. It is Monday, 10/10/2022. I am your host, Monte Perez, a.k.a. the Sports Whisperer. Yesterday, we had a great show with Bill Carroll talking college football. We had George Lopez talking about LA sports. We had 31 states tuning across the country. Again, I think the only states that have not watched our show are North Dakota, South Dakota, and Wyoming. So if you know anyone in those states, get them to tune into the full Monte Sports Show. In about 5 minutes, we're going to have Brad Ward join us and Amarie Castillo. Listen, guys, we are taking off next week. I am taking a mini vacation. I have not been on vacation in 4 years, so I'm leaving on Friday. I will be back Tuesday. So no Sunday show, no Monday show. Not sure yet who from Nuts and Both Sports is going to step up and host a show on Sunday or Monday if they're going to do that. But we will be back 2 weeks from today, and again, with Brad Ward and with Amarie Castillo. Make sure to like and subscribe to the Nuts and Bolts YouTube channel. Make sure to like and subscribe to the Nuts and Bolts YouTube channel. Tell a friend, tell a family member. Our goal is to do this 5 days a week, and I can only do that with your help. So definitely we are moving closer towards our goal of doing the show 5 days a week. This needs to be updated. We're at about 1.7 million views on TikTok. 1.7 million views on TikTok. We are growing. Again, make sure to follow me on social media, on Twitter, MonteJP231, and on TikTok, MontePerez231. Okay, real quick, want to talk about the Mets losing to the Padres yesterday. The Mets lost 2 games to 1. Now, here's the problem. One of my very first videos on TikTok was at the start of the Mets season. I didn't even know what viral was. It got 50,000 views in 2 days. Okay? And the video was of Francisco Lindor getting hit in the face by the Washington Nationals pitcher. Now, the Mets got hit all year long. They set the record that was set by the Cincinnati Reds in 2021 of 106 times getting hit. The Mets got hit over 125 times. Not once when the Mets got hit did anyone retaliate. No one went at the pitchers. No one said, hey, you hit Pete Alonso. You hit Francisco Lindor. You hit Jeff McNeil. We're coming after you, MFer. Nothing. There's a difference between being a great player and a superstar, right? Pete Alonso, Francisco Lindor, Jeff McNeil, who won the batting title, they're great players. They're not superstars. And what I mean by that is in a playoff game, I know Mookie Betts is going to show up. I know Altuve from Houston is going to show up. I know Randy Johnson, Greg Maddux in big games will get you 8 innings, pitch 150 pitches, strike out 10, and not give up any runs. LeBron James is a superstar. In a game 5, in a game 7, he's getting you 35, 15, and 10. That's a superstar. James Harden is a great player, but he's not a superstar. The Mets have great players. They don't have superstars. They don't have an alpha dog in the room. I'm watching the Redeem team right now. If you guys like sports, you should all watch this and see how these guys came together, and they were all alpha males, and they put their ego aside, and they said, no one is going to beat us ever again. The Mets don't have anyone on their team who's going to say, I'm carrying you tonight. They're nice players. They're not superstars. Nice players, not superstars. Okay, let's bring on Brad Ward from All Eyes on Cleveland and the radio superstar, which is Amarie. Amarie, my mom said to me on Saturday, do you like female announcers, male announcers? I said, Mom, you know what? We need more female announcers. I said, I'm sick of the same old guys in the booth. And my mom goes, I would listen to Amarie every day. And now you're working towards that. Tell people what just happened to you.
Oh, man. So I'm still on KNML Monday through Saturday in the mornings, but I also just got hired at KKOB, the news talk station, from 1 to 3, Monday through Fridays.
So Monday through Friday, 1 to 3.
Right, Mountain Time, yeah.
Okay. Now, Brad, another thing we keep talking about is your success and your subscribers on YouTube. What are you up to now? How can people follow you as well?
Yeah, so you can follow, we can subscribe to All Eyes on Cleveland on YouTube or on where all popular podcasts are found. You can follow me on Twitter at Word on Sports. We're at 2,070?
And that's in just over a year, right?
Yeah, on YouTube.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Well deserved. Greg, there's not misery. It's just the Mets don't have any superstars. They have a lot of good players.
Neither do the Guardians, brother.
That is true, and we're going to get to that.
Anything behind the ears? I saw that this morning.
What?
Listen, I was talking about this with my brother and my dad. He had something on his ear, but that's not why the Mets lost. The Mets are the first team in a playoff closeout game to get one hit. They didn't show up. And again, there's no one on the Mets lineup that is just like a Kobe Bryant Mamba mentality. I told this story before, I'll tell it again. After the Cavs were down 3-1 to Golden State Warriors, LeBron James texted everyone on the team and said, come downstairs, we're meeting. And he gave them like a 30-minute speech and it's like, we're not losing this goddamn series. We're not losing this. And they came back and won. You need alpha dogs in the room. The Mets don't have one. Okay, before we get to football, Brad, the Guardians love it. The youngest team in Major League Baseball, they advance. I lived in Cleveland when they went to the World Series. There's nothing like it.
No, it was amazing. So both games incredibly electric. They scored 3 freaking runs and won the series. Incredible, right? So, on Saturday, my son's first homecoming, right? So I'm at the place taking pictures. I'm trying to watch the game on my phone. They're in the 14th inning. It was insane. But it was crazy. Oscar Gonzalez hit it. He knew he hit it. He pimped the home run so nice. Place went ballistic.
Brad, he knew as soon as he hit it, it's out.
Oh, it was great, right?
Pitcher,
and he walked and he just flips the bat up. It was crazy, right? And it was off of Kluber too. And we love Kluber in Cleveland. So
I was just about to say Kluber can still go to any bar in Cleveland and they'll buy him free drinks. Not because he gave up a home run, because he was there for so long.
Yeah, right. And he won a Cy Young in Cleveland. So yeah, I mean it was it was amazing though. The series is incredible. This team is really awesome. I mean, they've got 13 guys making their major league debut this year. It's crazy. This team has no business being in the playoffs, but they just they have least home runs out of any team in the playoffs. They just keep the ball in play, pitch well, play good defense. They made some incredible defensive plays in the extra innings to keep
they really did. That one play at third to throw him out was incredible. Brad, is there a lot of talk about maybe Francona winning Manager of the Year? Because nationally, there's a lot of talk about Seattle, the Mets. I mean, to me, when you have the youngest team in the league and you're advancing, I know they vote before the playoffs start, but man, he's done a hell of a job.
Well, they everybody loves Tito in Cleveland. He can do no wrong, right? And so, of course, this is by far what people in Cleveland think is his best job because really their talent isn't there. I mean, the talent is there. It's just too young. It's 2 years early, right? I mean, they were calling up guys halfway through the season. It's pretty crazy, but there's just kind of a special group of dudes, right? And good pitching, and that's how you get it done.
Okay, Brad, real quick, give us your take on the series. They're going up against the evil empire in the New York Yankees. Do you give them a chance?
I do because of the pitching, right? So, like, and it kind of lines up nicely. Like, Cal Quantrill didn't have to pitch in the first series. He's excellent, and he'll go up against Garrett Cole, and then the Guardians can start over their rotation, so they kind of get that mismatch. I just think they have a chance because of the pitching. Because after Garrett Cole, the Yankees kind of fall off. I don't trust their pitching after that. So I think, if they can keep it close games, not give up the long ball, they have a chance, get back to Cleveland 1-1, and I think you got a shot.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on. Breaking news before we came on. Matt Rule got fired. I thought he'd be one of the first people to go. And Amarie, you said, how do I get a job? Fire me. Here's what I'm going to say, okay? I'm going to propose a new rule when a head coach gets fired. Now, I understand that Matt Rule, he was a college coach. So I get the fact that he wants stability. So they go out and they give this guy a 7-year contract. He's like, I'm moving my family. I don't want to leave college. I need some stability. Matt Rule lasted 3 years. He was 11-27 in 3 seasons. He's getting $40 million guaranteed to walk away from the team. Now, here's what I'm going to say. There needs to be some accountability. So if someone signs a long-term deal like this and they get fired before their contract is up, here's what should happen. Now, Matt Rule should still get some money, so you pay him $20 million, not $40. The rest of that money gets refunded to season ticket holders because that money's been already allocated.
Wait,
it
where
goes
is
to
this?
the season ticket holders, and you say to them, we did not put a good product on the field. You don't have to pay for the rest of the home games, whether it's 3, 4, whatever. And then a percentage of that money, of the $20 million that he's supposed to get, he gets half, he gets 20. The rest of the $20 million, you give like a $10,000 bonus to everyone who works in the stadium, the vendors, the maintenance people. You give it back to them because I don't want to pay because you failed in picking your head coach as an owner, and now for the next 3 years, our ticket prices are going to go up because you owe this guy $40 million. Am I crazy?
Here's the problem. You have to write that into the contract, though, Monte. Yes, you can't just make up a rule afterwards.
Listen, there's so many incentive clauses. Or I'll tell you what, there needs to be accountability in business.
This is not a communist state, Monte.
No, hold on. If I go to a restaurant, right, and the restaurant sucks, that restaurant will go out of business, right? People go there, it sucks. So if you don't want to take away your fired coach's money, okay, here's what you do. You got to match that salary to make up for the season ticket holders and make up for the vendors. You got to give them something. I'm tired of seeing these coaches. He has 4 years left on his contract. He's getting $40 million. What the hell is that? Not to coach. And it's going to affect everything. It's going to affect everything, Brad. The hot dogs are going to go up. The season tickets are going to go up. Everything.
Then don't hire him then. Then hire somebody else. It was their choice to go give him this absurd 7-year deal to lure him out of his cushy college job to come coach your Panthers, and he wasn't ready, right? I mean, he's a great guy, but he wasn't ready to do it. And they had injuries, and it just doesn't work there. That team's putrid, by the way, and maybe the worst team in football right now. But I mean, you gave him the contract. This is not a communist state, Monte. This is America. You get paid what you signed for.
What I'm saying, Brad, is that there needs to be accountability. There needs to be accountability. The fans deserve better. The fans are the one who's going to suffer. The owner's not going to suffer. It's the fans. The prices are going to go up because they owe this guy $40 million.
Monte, you're talking to two fans that have suffered more than anyone.
Right. I mean,
I'm a Jet fan.
What do you want? I mean, then write it in the contract. You can't just make up a rule that anybody that gets fired from their job, we're going to take half your money back and give it to the hot dog vendors.
But again, Brad, this is just ridiculous. He's getting paid. The Knicks. Okay, how about this? I'll give you a prime example. The Knicks fired Phil Jackson.
Right.
Phil Jackson was making $12 million a year. The next president, Pat Riley, I think was making $4 million. The Knicks fired him. They paid him $24 million for the next 2 years to not even be in the building. And then ticket prices went up 30% the following year because they had to pay for Phil Jackson's salary.
Agreed. I totally agree. It's not fair. It's not right. Talk to the owners, man. Talk to the owners.
Listen, I'm all for the little man. It's not it's not a communist. I'm not a communist, but I'm for the little guy. Okay, let's move on. Amarie, one of the weirdest games ever. It doesn't get easy for Vikings fans, does it?
Weirdest. I really enjoyed it. I don't know why people are giving the Vikes. This is just the ongoing narrative, I guess. I'm sorry. We're 4-1 with a new coach, and I think we just keep figuring out and we keep winning. So I'm like, I think this was a great game. The Bears obviously came back with some unanswered points. Kirk had a bad turnover. I didn't know why he didn't do the check down. And then one bad penalty, but I don't like to blame the game on that. For some reason, our new defensive scheme, we play a little soft, and I would like us to play more aggressive, and we're going to be fine. I mean, poor Justin Fields has no protection. Like, go after the guy. You got the players, and just like Andy Dalton, all these quarterbacks are playing. Defense gave a little more aggressive, but if you guys are not having fun watching this offense, I feel like it's 1998 all over again. My childhood.
Wow. That offense was prolific.
Oh, I know, but I'm watching the play calling, and I mean, Justin Jefferson is throwing touchdowns. I mean, that was like back in 1998 when I was a child. So it's just so much fun and so positive, and we're 4-1.
Listen, I will say this too. Kirk Cousins started the game 17 for 17. You don't even see Alabama do that against Vanderbilt. So what they didn't go conservative in the second half. Why? What happened that made the Bears able to come back?
It was our defense. And also the Bears defense isn't bad. They just need to work on helping their quarterback get some weapons, and their offensive line is atrocious. But, the Bears defense hasn't allowed points in the second half, which then we came back and won the game. And I'm just impressed because as a jaded, traumatized Viking fan, I'm used to not finding a way to win. I'm like, well, third quarter, I'm like, well, this game's over. Like, Kirk is just going down the field and winning the game. I'm not used to this. We're figuring it out. And I think
listen, I had the Vikings winning the division. Mm-hmm. Nothing has changed my mind in the first 5 weeks. They're the best team in the division.
Yeah, I think we're also we are the only team with 3 divisional wins. Thank you very much. I know that's not saying a lot with NFC North currently at its current circumstances, but I'm very happy with the direction we're going. And let people not talk about us. It's fine. I'm very happy with everything going on here. Still a little worried about the new defensive scheme, but we're 4-1. We're winning. I mean,
yeah, listen, you're 4-1, you're winning, and you're in first place. And listen, again, we say this every week. Win ugly. It's better to win ugly than lose pretty. You're 4-1, sitting pretty. Yeah,
players are happy. I've never seen all the players as happy before. It's just fun. This is fun. I'm not used to this.
All right, Brad, talk about not having fun. Browns led 14-3. Another high-scoring game. I thought it would be first one to 34 wins. Chargers come in and win 30-28. What went right? What went wrong? I know on Twitter you kept yelling at people saying to get rid of Stefanski. Every week it seems now he's like John Harbaugh. No matter what he does, they're second, triple, third guessing him. Yeah,
so, I mean, it was brutal, right? Like, find a way to lose twice in this game. They did it twice, basically. They played really well offensively again. So, you're blaming Stefanski, but he's actually an excellent play caller. And listen, on 4th and 1, should they have QB sneaked it? Yes. Should they, so yeah, bad call there. Yes, he's not perfect. He made some incorrect calls. You can second guess a lot of things that he did, right? We'll talk about the end of this game in a minute because Staley with an all-time crazy decision here, to your point, Monte. But, the defense was atrocious. The offense was great. Brissett playing amazing still, throwing missiles into tight windows all game long. He drives them right down the field. Both teams are running all over each other. Drives them right down the field. Browns are in position to go in and take the lead, or at least kick a field goal to take the lead with under 2 minutes left. And Brissett throws an all-time bonehead interception. Like, literally escapes from the pocket, has a blocker, nobody there. He could have walked in the end zone, at least walked 3 yards and slid for the first down, and decides to throw it last minute into, like, 10 people for an interception. It was a totally absurd play. And then Staley, decides to go for it on his own 46 at 4th and 2. The analytics say, even the analytics say to kick this one, but he goes ahead and goes for it. I thought it was like all time, like it's a very questionable call, right? Right. But I heard the PFF guys talking about it, and I guess you kind of have to look at it in a new age, like if you get one play to win the game, do you want to take that opportunity? And that's like how they look at it, right? Like, instead of trying to stop the other team, so you have to weigh that one play to win the game versus the other team's chance of driving down the field and kicking a field goal. Right. So they said, there's a minute, and they'll get the ball with a minute and 15 at the 20-yard line, no timeouts. Can they get into field goal range and kick it versus us getting a yard, right? And they thought they could get a yard. They threw the ball, and Martin Emerson, rookie corner, made a heck of a play on Mike Williams, got the ball back. The Browns got 10 yards, got into field goal range, and Cade York missed it. So twice they had the game won. Literally twice they had the game won. Did you watch this game, Monte?
Yeah, back and forth. I will say this, too. The only team in the NFL who has covered every week going into week 4 was Atlanta. They were 4-0 against the spread. And Brad, you tweeted, we should be 5-0.
Yes. Yeah. So you coughed up that you had a 99.9 win probability under 2 minutes against the Jets. You coughed that up on a blown coverage and an onside kick, right? The Falcons, you had that game won, and you coughed it up. And then this one, you had 2 chances to win it, and you cough it up. So I understand people's frustration with Stefanski. I think it's a little misplaced, though. I would blame the defense more at this point. The defense is atrocious. If they got one stop, they did get off the field at the end of the game, but I mean, the Chargers don't even have a good running game, and they ran for like 200 yards against us.
Austin Eckler had a good, and Brad, you bring up a good point. You said, look, Stefanski, you can blame him all he wants. He's not the one who's missing open receivers or throwing a bad interception. That's 100% on Jacoby Brissett. And it shocks me because he is, he's like a game manager, like an Alex Smith. He doesn't really like to take chances. So you just run it there. Even if you don't score, you get the first down. There's no reason to throw that into triple coverage or whatever the hell it was.
Yeah, he just didn't see the linebacker, but even if you look beyond the linebacker, the guy behind him wasn't open. I still don't know what he was looking at, and usually he's really good about that stuff. I mean, he literally had a blocker. He could have probably walked in the end zone, and they would have won the game. And then your drafted kicker, who already missed once earlier in the game, gets into field goal range and misses again. In the closed end of the stadium, which, if you're a Browns fan, that means the much easier end to kick in.
Yeah, not a lot of wind.
Yeah, the open end is like, a hurricane all the time, and so people struggle down there. But, he missed both of them in the closed end. This is the guy that kicked your game winner against. So I guess, they could have lost the Panthers game. So who knows? I mean, results are results. I understand. Like, here's the thing, Monte. Fans are blaming Stefanski because they're like, oh, he's the head coach, so he's ultimately responsible for this shit defense and the mistakes that are made elsewhere, right? And I get that. Like, I get that to a certain extent. But this is the NFL. Like, ultimately, you hire a guy, and he was hired to come in and run an offense, right? And be the quarterback whisperer and run an offense. And he is doing that to an incredible level with a career journeyman quarterback, right?
Right.
And so, like, yes, you can double guess multiple decisions he made in this game, but ultimately he's doing his job. Now, a lot of people want to say, oh, well, it's his job also to make sure the defenses run well. It's the NFL. It's really the DC's job to make sure the defenses run well. I get that the head coach ultimately gets the blame, but I just think it's such a lazy take to be like, oh, they lost, so it's the head coach's fault. I don't care if the defense sucked and the offense was great and he runs the offense. I'm going to blame the head coach no matter what. That just seems lazy to me.
Well, and I will say this, Pam brings up a good point. There's so many missed extra points, missed field goals. I tell you what, he's never going to get a vote. But tell me a more valuable player than Justin Tucker. Year in and year out, the guy just kicks field goals like he's a machine.
That game winner, did you see the statistic on that? The game winner he kicked last night, it could have been a yard. They said it was if the field goal was a yard wide, he would have hit it down the middle.
He's the weirdest dude. He sings opera in 7 different languages. He is a weird cat, but he's a great kicker. So yeah, now. Listen, Amarie, you know this Saints game. You know you've won and lost by the field goal kicker.
This has been my whole life with kickers. Also, the Vikings missed 2. The Greg Joseph missed 2 field goals against the Bears.
Ex-Brown, Greg Joseph. Retread Browns kicker there in Minnesota.
Extra point.
Yeah. So he's not very good either. Monte, what do you think of his decision to go for it? Staley.
I'm of the belief if you have an elite quarterback like a Mahomes, like a Herbert, you go for it almost all the time. But I will say this. Against Jacoby Brissett, who you said, is a game manager and doesn't really want to throw the ball deep. That's not his makeup. But my problem was they weren't able to stop him. So I didn't have a problem with it. I always like to put the ball in my quarterback's hands, though, on a 4th down. Let him roll out. Let him throw Taysom Hill, MVP of the Saints here. I didn't have a problem with the call because I think if you have Justin Herbert, you got to let him make a play.
Yeah, one play to win the game, right?
Yes.
You'll take that shot when it's like that. Here's the thing that made no sense, though. Did you hear his press conference? He said they asked him why he did it, and he said it's because he had – listen to this now. Tell me about making no sense. He said it's because he had faith in his defense to stop the Browns from gaining 10 yards. Well, correct me if I'm wrong here. If you have faith in your defense, wouldn't you want to give them 40 yards to
Exactly.
stop
Listen,
offense?
He's not a good coach. They're winning despite him. All right. Any final take, Brad, or you want to move on?
I'm very upset. Clearly. Yeah, you can tell. I'm very upset. I tried to stay away from. Well, I tweeted and then I got away from it because people were really pissing me off, and So I tried to stay away from it last night. I watched the game last night, and then I'm glad that the Ravens beat the Bengals because ultimately, we'll get to that game later. I have some thoughts, but the Browns defense is shit right now. They went out and made a trade after the game yesterday.
Yeah, the Falcons are tanking, apparently.
Yeah, well, this guy's on IR, and he hasn't been very good in a couple years, but he is kind of right up the alley of what they like at linebacker. I don't know when he's going to be able to play or whatever, but to me, this reeks of, we're giving you no excuses, Joe Woods. You want to make an excuse that you lost your Andrew Walker, who was playing great football, and now you have Jacob Phillips, who can't tackle anybody and takes the worst angles I've ever seen on a football field and overruns every damn play. So we're going to go out and get you another linebacker so you can't make excuses, because ultimately he has a really talented defense, and they can't stop anybody.
Yeah, it's funny because I don't really get mad after teams lose. I'm watching the Met game. By the 5th inning, I stopped. But George Lopez, who was on my show yesterday, he went to the Clippers game. They had box suites, and he's there with my friend Neeson, my friend Ray, and they're drinking, and they start talking to me about the Met game. They got one hit. What do you when my team loses? I'm not a jerk. If they lose at 1 o'clock, I'm watching I'm over it. But I don't want to talk when a team gets eliminated that I've watched over 140 Met games this year. And you want to talk to me about why? So when you got off social media yesterday, I don't blame you. Okay, well, I was very upset during my show because let's face it, we talk about the Packers. And I thought they'd be 6-1 going into Buffalo. They lost in London. I got to give all the credit in the world to the Giants. This is not so much the Packers lost as the Giants coaching staff, and now they got Thibodeau from Oregon, who is healthy. And I got to be honest with you. Yes, everyone wants to talk about Barkley, but Daniel Jones looks like a different quarterback under their new coaching staff. It's amazing.
Danny Dimes.
Somebody on this show didn't give up on Daniel Jones last year. I forget who that was.
I gave up on him, and I still will. I don't think you can win. By the way, did you see that they asked Ron Rivera why every team in the NFC East is over 500 and playing well, and Washington isn't? And do you know what he said? He said the quarterback. So he's throwing Carson Wentz under the bus. Speaking of buses, okay. Detroit Lions lost yesterday. Amarie, 29-0.
Okay.
Their coach, the Crying Camels, he's now 4-17. This is what I tweeted out. I said, not only would I fire him, I would make him take the bus back home to Detroit. You cannot lose 29-0 to the Patriots when you're the number one offense going into that game. Amarie, the Lions are a joke. This guy should have been fired last year. No one wanted to listen to me. He is 4-17 as a head coach.
You lost to Bailey Zappi.
Not only that, his coaching decisions were absurd.
6 times on 4th down, 0 for 6 at that. If you looked at,
I thought he got 1 first down. He was 1 for 5.
No.
He was 0 for 6.
4th downs. He had 0 for 6 4th downs, and this team has been scoring plus 40 points a game.
Yep,
it's insane. There was a lot of penalties, and they turned over the ball twice too. But this is just atrocious. This is embarrassing. And I know I'm a degenerate and we have an intervention with me every week, but I was like, oh, the Lions will at least cover. No, they didn't! Shut out!
Listen, I'll tell you, it's funny because I'm 52-25, I think, picking NFL games. And the teams that I always lose on the Dolphins and I always lose on the Lions. When I pick the Lions to win, they don't. I'm terrible with the Lions. And I just want to go back to just cap this off because it's something that we've talked about. Marty brings up Rodgers doesn't trust his whole receiving corps. That is on Aaron Rodgers. They interviewed him again in London, and they said, do you have to adjust to your young receivers? And he has the same stupid ego answer, which is they have to adjust to me. That's not what a leader does, Aaron. You make players around you better. He doesn't trust his receivers. He doesn't.
First throw? I've never seen that from Aaron Rodgers. I wouldn't just blame your receivers either. And you got A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones, and for our fantasy football teams, use them. They are a great dual running back. What are you doing? Just
13 times. Jones ran the ball 13 times. My friend Jared is texting me as I'm doing my show. What are they doing? I'm like, Jared.
And he's trying to do this crap where he's throwing it down the field, and then he cries because he's not getting the calls he used to get like Tom Brady does. He drives me crazy. But I'm glad they lost.
I don't think I've ever seen all three of us this angry on one show.
Well, first of all, I'm glad the Packers lost. But what are you doing? You have the weapons on offense. Stop crying.
Yeah.
This is okay. What are you doing?
So there's a statistic on the Packers that says they have the most 40-yard plays or 30-yard plays or whatever they consider an explosive play, right? In the NFL or something like that. But of course they do, because they throw they throw 2-yard passes all game long, and then they take a shot. The offense is horrible to watch. It's almost unwatchable.
It's
stupid. It's stupid. They could have managed the game, managed the clock, and I'm glad they didn't, because I hate the Packers with a burning passion. And Monte, the Jets are number 2 in the AFC East. You should be happy right now.
Look. Let's all slow down with the Jets. We'll get to that game. But look at this. A pissed-off Amarie is amazing.
Oh, yeah. This is nothing.
All right, Brad, let's move to another game that if I was a betting man, which I'm not because I live in Florida and you can't do prop bets because it's the worst state in the world to live in besides the weather. Amarie, I would have bet all the money I had that this game, the winner would be 20-17. Brad, it wasn't. It was 39-32. I got to be honest, Geno Smith is playing better than Russell Wilson. They look like a really good team, and they scored a lot of points against a very good Saints defense.
I don't know. I want to jump the gun on calling the Saints defense good. You like their defense?
Yeah.
I want to bring up let's bring up some point totals.
I like Geno. Have you guys watched Geno Smith's press conferences, though? His answers are the best.
Geno is playing really well. Taysom Hill.
Jet reject, by the way.
Yeah, jet reject for sure. But yeah, I mean, he's playing very well. 3 touchdowns. This game was surprising. I agree with the high scoring. The Seahawks defense is terrible. Taysom Hill.
They're really bad. Brad, they're really bad.
Yeah,
really
well, aren't they the ones that gave up 40-some to the Detroit last week?
Yes. Yep.
Yes. So they are there, but I'm not so sold on the Saints, D. Let me check.
Anyway,
Anyway.
I'm watching this game going back and forth, Brad and Amarie, and I'm like, oh, God, like, can I just pick one DraftKings where I pick Taysom Hill? Because he has 2 of these games a year, and he costs you like $1,000. It doesn't even cost you any money. It's like they give it to you for free.
Or you've had Alvin Kamara sitting on your bench because he hasn't been doing shit. So,
so
they just really pissed me off.
So I was surprised to see this coaching staff lean into the old Taysom Hill thing, right? Because, that's kind of new. Do you guys think that he should be their starting quarterback?
Yes, I do, 100%. I do. Jameis Winston is not healthy, and he's a turnover machine.
What about Andy Dalton?
The thing is, what's Andy Dalton's ceiling, right? What's his best game? 280, 20 for 27, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. This guy, at least for a quarter or a half, can change the dynamic of the game.
I'm gonna call overrated. I can't find it right now, but I'm calling overrated on the Saints defense a little bit, but that's not to take anything away from the Seahawks.
I'm looking it up right now, Brad. So I got your numbers for you.
28, 32, 28, 22, 20, 26. That's not great.
It's not great.
So I'm going to call.
Brad, they're middle of the road. They're 15th in yards, giving up yards per game. They're 12th in passing yards, which is pretty good. But here's where they excel. On 3rd down, they're only giving up a first down 29% of the time, which is 2nd in the NFL. So they may give up points, but they are getting off the field a lot of the time.
Question. Do you guys think the Saints are good? Do you think they're a playoff team?
No, I do not.
No.
For this season, I did.
I
don't
not
think they're a playoff.
they're very good.
I thought they were a wild card team.
They will win some games that they probably shouldn't, but they're going to lose some games that probably at the beginning of the year you thought they were going to win.
Yeah.
I don't think they're a playoff team, though.
Yeah, no, I don't think they are either. But listen, Seattle's playing a lot better without Russell Wilson. They are better. Their defense is atrocious. They have had injuries. They've made trades. Their defense is just like practice squad players, but their offense is much better than I thought they would be.
Kyle and I were at that Colts-Broncos game. I just want to let you know.
Oh, yes. You know what? Let's talk. How much alcohol did you have to drink to forget that? I think you tweeted, I can't even congratulate him on the win.
But no, my husband woke up the next morning and told me he misses Carson Wentz. That's how bad it was. And he might have still been drunk.
Pretty bad.
But still, but that's how they were feeling at that point. The craziest part to me, though, is the Colts will be fine. The Broncos, I have never seen, and I come from a fan base that doesn't treat their quarterback well, but booing Russell Wilson, booing the Broncos. Your home
I
team.
would have booed him too. I would have booed him too. $230 million for that bullshit. That was just, He is such a poser. And you know what? Somebody called him out on NFL.com too. Who was it? Kyle Brandt called him a poser, and I've been saying it for weeks. He is a douchebag, Mr. Unlimited. Give me a freaking break. He can't look the right direction. He has been awful since he got there. Awful. And I wouldn't say the Colts are going to be all right, because I think the Colts are dog shit too. Just to go on the record.
I'm trying to be positive, but I'm just letting you know I've been to a lot of sporting events, a lot of NFL games. I have a fan base that hates Kirk Cousins. You should have seen the booing in this city.
But wait a minute,
he deserves it.
Amarie, they left when they were going into overtime. It's tied up, and they're walking out of the stadium. Here's the thing, and I said this on my show yesterday. First of all, at the end of every press conference, I don't know if he's trying to be, if he thinks he's on a reality TV show. At the end of every press conference, he goes, "Broncos country, let's ride." Dude, what? Do you have any emotion?
Dude, cringy. It's cringy.
It's so cringy. And here's the worst part. I said this yesterday on my show. If he can't outplay an aging Matt Ryan, who's horrible, what are the fans going to do when they go up against Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, and Derek Carr? No. When Justin Herbert is thrown for 350 yards and he's got 140 yards in 3 quarters, what are they going to do? He's awful.
Dude, I know and I said this on my podcast last week too, and I'm sure people got pissed off when I called him a douchebag again. But he is the ultimate douchebag. He wears his own jersey, and Kyle Brandt said it too. And clearly he had something personal. He was he snubbed him, but he walks around with Sierra with his sunglasses on. He says no comment. He pushes people away. He's just a douchebag. I mean, come on, dude. I thought this guy was a class act coming out of Wisconsin. He's going to overachieve as a short quarterback. He has turned into the ultimate turd. I do not like him at all. And he shows it too. How about him on the sideline yelling pass, run, like it's a freaking
high school game?
Yeah, not even high school game, like a freaking little kids game. They can't hear you. What is wrong with him?
It's so funny though.
I would have booed him too. I mean, he has been awful, just absolutely awful. He won't look the right way. He just his throws aren't accurate.
Did you see KJ Hamler's reaction in the end zone when he was wide open and he throws his helmet and slams? Here's the deal, guys. He has another $220 million that they owe him.
Yep.
Yeah, and KJ Hamler's throwing his helmet. It's not like he's some, accomplished receiver or anything. That's just a glimpse into what's going on in the locker room. It has to be. I mean, it's not like he's somebody that throws their helmet because he didn't get thrown to. He hasn't done shit in the NFL. He's thrown his helmet. You got problems.
Well, listen, and I am a Packer fan, but Brad is calling Russell Wilson a douchebag. Aaron Rodgers says, "Hold my beer," because Aaron Rodgers is the biggest douchebag on the planet. But at least he is. Aaron Rodgers. There's not other than Brett Favre. There's probably not a worse human being on the planet than Aaron Rodgers, who played in the NFL. And that's saying a lot, because let's be honest, there's a lot of scumbags in the NFL.
He doesn't call himself Mr. Unlimited, so.
Yeah.
But you lose by 30. You lose by 3 points. You scored 12, and at the end of the press conference, he goes, "Broncos country, let's ride."
And
he winks.
Subway
and he winks.
Check that out.
Oh yeah. We'll talk about Baker in a minute. I don't know if you guys saw the press conference about Baker Mayfield. They asked him. They said, "Hey, are you feeling the pressure here? Because people are calling for your job. You guys are losing. They fired the coach." And he goes, "Who's calling for my job? You?" He goes, "No one in the locker room." He goes, "I'm confident. We're confident." He goes, "I'm not playing well, but my job is secure."
Did you
Baker's
see that?
Another one.
Yeah. Did you see it when they asked about the batted down passes, and if he said, "Is there anything you can do to help?" He goes, "If you got a drill, tell me."
Yeah. He's going to. The reporters are asking him a question. And
Yeah.
He's going.
You got a drill?
Yeah. You
You got a drill for that?
Yeah.
Being a smartass. That's par for the course, though. I mean, this is the Baker Mayfield experience. I've seen this movie before. I know how it ends.
Hey, Marie, my dad complimenting your purple colors.
you.
Yeah, a little. Wearing it proudly after 4-1. Okay, so I say this all the time, right? It doesn't matter if you take a step back in life to reach your goals. It doesn't matter if you veer off. You got to move forward, right? So Tampa Bay beat the Falcons, and they talked to Mariota after at the press conference, and they say to him, "Hey, Marcus, your offense on first and second down is struggling." And I went back and looked when he was with Tennessee. I went back and looked at like 14 different press conferences, and it's the same thing. He says, "Yeah, we need to do a better job on first and second down. We're not being effective." They're not being effective because they're running the ball. It's the play calling is so predictable. But he's got to take it upon himself. He has not evolved. It's the same press conference 7 years ago. 7 years ago, and I had an epiphany, okay? My epiphany is this. There's a woman that I used to work with. She was dating a guy for 7 years, and she would always complain about him. She had to pay for everything because he worked part-time. There were situations where they would go out and to like a park or something, and one time she bought Corona Light, and he wanted to drink Heineken Light, so he's like, "Take me home. You brought the wrong beer." And she took him home. So she would complain about him all the time. Finally, I said, "This is who you are. You like this. You like this because you put up with it for 7 years. He's never going to change. He's a dirtbag. So this is who you are. This is what you like." Marcus Mariota likes just listening to coaches. It's how he was raised. The same press conference 7 years ago, he's saying we got to do a better job on first and second down, and a different reporter asked him the same question that he asked him today. "Well, what about mixing up the plays and maybe throwing more on first and second down?" And he said, it's the coach's job to call the plays. We got to make it work. He's never going to be successful in the NFL because he likes just being told what to do. He's not an alpha male, like we mentioned earlier with the Olympic team on the Dream Team, what the Mets don't have. He's just, you tell me what to do, and I got to make it work. Maybe it's a confidence thing. I don't know. But
it's hard. It's hard, Monty, to call plays for a guy that doesn't. I mean, like you're talking about him listening and stuff, but like at the same time, on both sides of the coin, like Mariota is who Mariota is. So like when he reaches his like cap, which is what you're seeing, like the same thing in Tennessee that's happening now. He's reached his. This is as far as he can go. And it's hard to call plays for a guy like that.
Right,
it's hard to evolve in an offense
but what
like
I'm
that.
saying is change it up. Stop running the ball on first and second down. But we're going to go to the end of the game. Again, great job by Atlanta. I posted this video on TikTok. Within 5 hours, it got 50,000 views. So here it is. This is the worst call I think I've ever seen. The worst call. Third down. Watch. He grabs Brady, and he just throws him down. And they call a penalty. What are we doing here? Come on. This is ridiculous. He tackles him down. That's a penalty. That's unnecessary roughness. NFL, what the hell are you doing? That is a tackle. I mean, that literally, I don't blame the referees. The referees didn't run the ball on first and second down the first 3 quarters. So, they only scored 15 points, Atlanta Falcons. So I'm not blaming the referee. But this is an absolute disgusting display of officiating. He could have picked him up and thrown him down, and I would have not had a complaint with the personal foul. But to call that and give Brady, who, by the way, I've never seen a quarterback get into the referees' faces more when stuff is not going his way than Tom Brady, and no one ever gives him an unsportsmanlike conduct. I'm going to play this video one more time because there's no way this is unnecessary roughness. There's no way this should have ever been a personal foul. If anything, Brady lands on top of him. The guy breaks his fall. This is the worst call I think I've ever seen. The worst call. Third down. Watch. He grabs Brady, and he just throws him down. And they call a penalty. By the way, I will say this too. One of the best things that I've seen, hold on, let me get this picture off here. One of the best things I've seen is all the comments about how much some of it was just hilarious. Because, like I said, I think it's up to like 70,000 views on TikTok. But the comments are like, he's heartbroken. Giselle broke his heart. The refs, it was just like, and they brought the tuck rule back. The hatred for Tom Brady and the funny comments. Go to my TikTok page and just look at the comments. Brad, Amarie, how is that a personal foul?
It's ridiculous. It's just, we see this happens every week. These calls happen every week. They change games every week. Like, there's just, with all the concussion stuff, all they had to see was his head heading towards the ground, even though it never hit that. Like, you literally would have to, Grady Jarrett would literally have to, let him go. And is that what they want? Is that what the NFL wants? If I'm going to tackle him to the ground,
and Brady escapes, they're like, wow, he still has the escapability after all these years.
I can't sack him right now because it's a penalty, so I'm going to have to let him run and throw this pass. That's what we're approaching, because that's literally what he would have had to do on that play.
It's a penalty if it's Brady, and the NFL needs to change this narrative. It's freaking ridiculous. He's been getting away with it. We already know the players in the league that get along with get these calls. His little princess, other douchebag friend, number 12, Aaron Rodgers, does the same exact things. They need to change it. Look at all these other guys who are getting carted off the field. No flags. It's ridiculous. I understand the quarterback's a different position, but the NFL is just ruining. It makes me so mad.
She's right. She's right, because other guys get different treatment. Like guys that run the ball, Mahomes, Tua, Lamar Jackson, they don't get that treatment. They get treated totally differently. It's total bogus, and it's like illegal speaking to him too loudly. Get away from him.
No, it's crazy, and I don't know what's going on, but everyone's just dropping F-bombs. Everyone's just cursing now.
Good job, chat. Yes, get into it. I like to see it.
For Falcons, you have 60 minutes to win a game. This has separate the game. This is the Brady narrative. I'm so freaking sick of it.
No, I would have liked to have seen, to the point of the game, I would have liked to have seen the Falcons get the ball back and try to drive down the field and see what happened in the freaking game. Yeah. Crap.
Okay. Amarie is happy because her Vikings won, but her bets have went out the window. Okay, Amarie, I won 2 parlays. Oh, that's good. Oh yeah, didn't you win $100?
I won 235 yesterday.
Wow, that's very nice. Okay,
winning $1 million tonight.
Oh yeah, Brad. Sorry about the Mets. I gave
Max got me out of another $100. You're
dude. Did you see the other night, Amarie? You saw it. That dude missed a field goal. I would have won $1,000. Yeah. Freaking who was that? Son of a bitch. That was terrible.
Okay, Amarie, let's move on. We talked about it. Ron Rivera's throwing Carson Wentz under the bus, saying we're not better because of our quarterback. I don't know who the best team in this division is. You got to say it's the Titans right now because Jacksonville lost to Houston. Houston sucks, and the Indianapolis Colts are struggling big time. Are the Titans impressive or just a victim of a crappy division?
This game, they almost lost the Commanders. They're lucky that they have Carson Wentz, who can't finish and win games. The Commanders outplayed the Titans. The Titans found a way to stop them because Carson Wentz could have ran it into the end zone, by the way, on that last end zone drive. Oh, my God. It's just ridiculous. I don't believe in the Titans didn't kill the Commanders. That's sad.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
On that drive, when he was he looked like he was trying to throw an interception. First play, I was like, wow, that was really close. He almost threw an interception there. Like, what is he doing? Oh my God, he just flat out dropped an interception. Like, please be careful. And then he threw an interception. It looked like he was literally trying to throw an interception.
Yeah. And if you look at his stats, it's like crazy, though. That's what's insane about Carson Wentz. He looks like he had a good game minus the 30. But it's the guy that it's always the bridesmaid, never the bride. Like he just can't finish it. He couldn't finish the game. He couldn't find a way to win. They should have won. The Commanders should have won this game.
Someone brought up a great point. I said, Ron Rivera, maybe it's time to go. And they said, well, Daniel Snyder. No, but they said Daniel Snyder needs to go. I'm like, that's not how the NFL operates. It's the old boys club, and Daniel Snyder will own that team until he's buried 6 feet under, and he'll leave it to a family member. So that team, they're the Lions, they're Washington, just horrible ownership, and I don't care what coach gets in there, they're destined to fail.
Yeah, so they outplayed the Titans. They just couldn't find a way to win. It was silly.
Okay, Brad, let's move on to the 4-1 Buffalo Bills. Going into this game, the Steelers were a 14-point favorite. People killed me on my show because I said this is going to be 41-10. I was wrong. It was 38-3. Pickett didn't play well, but how can you put a rookie quarterback in against the Buffalo defense and expect to do anything? Brad, are the Bills this good, or are the Steelers this bad, or is it a combination of both?
I think it's a combination of both, because it's what the only surprising part about this to me was the amount of big plays that the Steelers defense gave up, right?
Right.
That's not typical for them. They still have Minka Fitzpatrick back there, but Gabe Davis was freaking mossing him and went for 170 yards and 2 tutties. I mean, that's crazy. If you're second wide receiver, if he's doing that, teams are in trouble with Diggs on the other side.
Yeah.
Kenny Pickett, though, I think for a rookie quarterback that started against the best team in the league, threw for 327 yards. He had an interception. He was mobile. I don't know. I just think the Steelers are trash right now.
Someone, a Bills fan, posted, I need to find a guy, this woman put, I need to find a guy who hugs and looks at me the way Josh Allen looks at Gabriel Davis. Look how happy Josh Allen, he looks like he's in love. It's the happiest moment of his life. I thought that was hilarious.
You're not on the Bills train yet, Monte?
No, I think that
we'll get him there, Brad. We'll get him there one day.
I think they're a good team, but again, I think that they just don't have the running. So I think the Chiefs are the best team.
Run-first offense.
Because of Josh Allen, I think the Chiefs are the best team in the AFC.
God bless America.
Do you think the Bills are the best team in the AFC?
I think they're the best team in the NFL, sir.
Brad, are you going to back that up?
Yeah, I don't even think it's close at this point.
Okay.
I
know
you love your Eagles, but someone's going to expose them. We know what the Bills are.
They almost got exposed by a terribly coached Cardinals team. So we'll get there, I'm sure. But yeah, dude, Josh Allen is incredible. He's throwing seeds all over the yard. And if somebody Monty rolled his eyes. If he needs to, if they need to run the ball, he can run it. He's a machine.
Talk to me in December where he can barely walk and he's exhausted. Okay, I am not buying the Bills going to the Super Bowl. I didn't buy them last year either. Now look,
how close were they last year, right?
But you know what? Listen, if you ain't first, you're last. Ricky Bobby. If you ain't first, you're last. Okay, let's move to the mighty Jets. Okay, let me just start by saying right away, Teddy Two Gloves gets injured. So right off the bat, you're like, oh, we're in trouble. So they bring in, listen, not going to take anything away from the Jets. They played a good game. I will say this about the Jets. On offense, they have much better skill position players than I thought. Their rookie wide receiver, their rookie running backs. They have speed on both sides of the ball. I do not like Zach Wilson. I watched him again thoroughly yesterday, but I will say this. The Jets won. They look good. Like I said with the Lions, they should win 8 or 9 games just because they've had very good draft picks. And draft night, I said the Lions and Jets won the draft. So, but I will say this. For all the Tua haters out there, for all the people who said, oh, this guy can't play, he was number 1 in almost every category, passing, completion percentage, touchdowns. They look terrible on offense without Tua. Terrible. And I don't know if Tua's ever going to come back. If I'm him, I sue the NFL and the Dolphins for $500 million, and that's it. I never play another down. But the Dolphins look a mess. Give credit to the Jets. They are young. They are fast. And their offense, Matt LaFleur's brother, who's the offensive coordinator, did a hell of a job yesterday against an above-average Dolphin team. So, yes, I am not on the Jets bandwagon, They should win 7 or 8 games, but I still think with a healthy Tua, they are the third best team in that division.
Dude, they have a ton of. I mean, like, you're right. Like, this is what happens to some teams, and now they just kind of need to, like, become a team. But, like, individually, they have a ton of talent. Like,
Yes.
it's crazy all over the field.
Yeah.
And that it's kind of shined yesterday. Listen, like, the Dolphins, like, I get it. And I know you, but, like, the drop off from Tua to that dude that just basically walked into the stadium and became quarterback yesterday. And then, like, Teddy Bridgewater probably could have won that game. Like, I don't know. I don't. Listen, Tua's good, but he's also a product of the weapons around him. Like, Teddy can do the same things, basically.
I like Teddy.
Well, the thing is with Tom,
Teddy can get the job done.
I
the
agree.
thing is with Thompson, he's got a better arm and he's a better runner than Tua. But Tua's IQ and accuracy is off the charts. Whatever you want to call it, Tua was phenomenal the first 4 games of the season. Phenomenal. Okay, Amarie, Houston beat the Jags. Houston is 1-3 in an ugly game, 13-6. The Jags are now 2-3. Brad, Amarie, listen, if I'm a young quarterback and I'm trying to develop and I want to take the next step, you cannot play this poorly in your second year against, let's be honest, Houston's going to win 5 games this year. They're well coached, but the talent is not there. Just a horrible loss for the Jags, who are gaining momentum.
Divisional game, gaining momentum, and also the Texans are 1-3-1. Remember that. I will not in my household. It's crazy that the Jaguars had a total of 422 yards of offense and scored 6 points.
Scored 6 points, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta, if you're moving the ball,
what are you doing?
Right, and what do they say about Hall of Fame quarterbacks? Anyone can move the ball. Jeff George, one of the greatest quarterbacks to throw the ball ever. But when you have to think in the red zone, when you got to make quick decisions, that's when young quarterbacks really develop, like a Justin Herbert, like a Patrick Mahomes. We saw what Patrick Mahomes did last week where he's running and he just flicks the ball up in the air to Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So are the Colts the best team in this division, Amarie?
Oh, this division's a mess right now. I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's the Titans. I don't think it's the Texans. I think it's between the Jaguars and the Colts.
Amarie, you have the most beautiful rainbow. It looks like tie-dye. What is that?
Yeah, what is happening?
Your door. Yeah.
Is that the sun?
Yeah, it's just coming in from the window. That's
a natural occurrence right now.
And it's going off with my husband's awards. Anyway, okay, so the crazy thing about the Jaguars, though, is, that was atrocious last year under Urban Meyer. I think Doug Peterson is a decent coach, and let's give Trevor Lawrence a shot, though. I mean, this is 5 games in. They built a team around him, but they're not bad.
They're not bad.
Really
they're not.
Game.
No, they should have won this game. 0-for-3 in the red zone. You move the ball between the 20s. A lot of teams do this every week in the NFL. You move the ball up and down the field between the 20s. Literally, the NFL is becoming a game every week about if you can hold your opponent to field goals and you can score touchdowns, you will win. And they were 0-for-3 in the red zone. They moved the ball up and down the field all day. The Pierce kid is really an incredible runner for Houston. But they had no business winning this game. I think Doug Pearson is an incredibly smart coach. They're just not ready yet. And they need to take that next step.
What made me so disappointed in this game is you have a chance now to separate yourself, get a division win, separate yourself in a division that's really Amarie. I feel like you're angelic right now.
Yeah, this is crazy. I cannot believe that's a natural occurrence. It's like freaking the Twilight Zone right now.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That is cool. All right, Brad, listen. People are saying they're waiting for the Eagles to be exposed on the chat. Amarie said it. Eagles are the best team in this division. I said this after the first week and after they played the Atlanta Falcons. I don't care if they win or lose. This Rams team is not the same that won the Super Bowl. I don't know if they took the offseason off. The play calling is atrocious. Dallas is a good team, but let's be honest. You should not lose to Dallas at SoFi. when you're the Super Bowl champs?
I would take
I told you I think they're kind of slow playing it, and not like on purpose, but like I'm not gonna panic on the Rams yet. I think the Cowboys are legit, man. I think they're good. How about them Cowboys, Greg? Dang, man.
Greg's loving life.
That is good stuff. And you know what? You're gonna get your comeuppance this week, Monty, when Cowboys and then the Eagles face off on Sunday Night Football. Let's go. Let's see who it is.
I am going to be in Wisconsin for that game, and I'm going to be loving life. First of all, you have the Bills-Chiefs at 4:00 next Sunday, and then you have Eagles-Dallas on Monday night. I can't remember the two. You're looking at maybe the winner of the NFC, maybe the winner of the AFC in back-to-back games. That should be fun.
Love it.
Yeah.
Me too.
So, Amarie, you said that, someone's going to expose the Eagles. What don't you like about this team?
No, I think they're good. I think it's way too early in the season, and they were a wild card team last year, and their scoring is weird too. Like I was trying to look up the stats with the Cardinals, but they started off hot. I feel like teams heat up at the right time, just like Brad just said about the Rams not playing well with right now. I think this is a great team. I just don't think they're the best team in the NFL right now.
Okay, so in the NFC, who would you say is the best team if it's not the Eagles?
Oh, in NFC, I would say it's the Eagles. I'm saying in the NFL, I think it's the Bills. Now, listen, the Eagles could take that role next year. This was Jalen Hurts' year to see what he really is. Nick Sirianni is doing a good job. They have a really good defense. And let's hope Jalen Hurts stays healthy, because if my man doesn't learn how to slide, he is going to go down.
It's unbelievable. I'm watching the game.
And he's not going to get those Tom Brady calls, so my man needs to learn.
Listen, he had 2 rushing touchdowns yesterday, and he takes a lot of hits too because, again, Kyler Murray, former baseball player, knows how to slide, right? This guy, he has a little Josh Allen in him. He wants to try to muscle you, and he's not Josh Allen's size.
Right.
I think, I hate to break your bubble here, Monty, but, they kind of look like shit yesterday, and the Cardinals are not a very good team.
Yeah,
and this kicker that, teams are just passing around to kick game-losing field goals. Is that the same guy that missed the one for? Is that the same guy that missed the one for the Chiefs?
Well, here's what I'll say. Okay.
Yeah, Amendola.
When you go on the road, okay, I don't care how you win. The NFL is a marathon, not a sprint. We talked about this with you, Amarie, with the Vikings. Just win and move on. This was a classic trap game. They got off to an early lead. Arizona came back. I am not worried about the Eagles at all. I think they beat the Cowboys next week. I think they go 6-0. I think they're just the best team in the NFC right now. When a team goes on the road, a sign of a good team is winning in the NFL when you play bad.
Let me ask you this.
Yes.
If they play a good defensive team, right, and that defensive team has some good corners, right, and they have a good front, and they don't have to blitz to get after Hurts, and they make them either run the ball or make Hurts throw from the pocket, is he going to get exposed when he has to throw from the pocket? If somebody just contains him and makes him throw from there and sits back in a deep zone and makes him dink and dunk?
They're not a second half team.
They have scored a ton of points in the first half. They have like 107 in the first half and 29 in the second half. I think they're scheming stuff up, and they're getting figured out halfway through the game. I'm not as confident in this team as you, Monty, because I don't think Hurts he's not Mahomes, he's not Herbert, he's not Burrow. He's a scheme quarterback.
Okay, everything you're saying is accurate, but here are just some stats. They're 4th in total yards, 5th in passing, 10th in rushing. Okay, so they're 4th in rushing, 7th in passing, 2nd in total yards. This team moves the ball, okay, because Jalen Hurts is a very good dual threat quarterback. Now, also, on 3rd down where he's not supposed to be a passer, they are getting a first down 43% of the time, which is 6th in the NFL. I fear the Dallas Cowboys want to have a pass-centric offense because they're going to sack the quarterback. But when you can run the ball against the Cowboys, which the Rams couldn't do, they want to drop back and just throw the ball deep. I think the Eagles are built to beat the Cowboys because they can run the ball very effectively. Don't get me wrong. Eagles are not winning a Super Bowl. That's not what I'm saying. I just have them winning the division. Right now, they're the best team in the NFC, but we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, I think you can say that right now, but I don't think they've really been tested yet. So
okay.
No, but Dallas, hats off to both Eagles and Dallas have two really good defenses that I believe in.
Agreed.
They are amazing defenses. So
agreed. I like both teams a lot. I'm
excited for that game.
I think that game will be really good.
Okay, we got about 10 minutes left talking with Brad Ward and Amarie Castillo. Here we go. The Ravens last night with Justin Tucker kicks the game-winning field goal. They win 19-16. Guys, I said this on our very first show. The Bengals are taking a step back. They can't figure out how to get my boy Jamar Chase involved. The Ravens just keep winning ugly or losing ugly, however you want to look at it. But this was a game, Brad. Who were you rooting for as a Browns fan going into this game?
I was rooting for the Ravens because I think ultimately that the Bengals probably have more talent and will have a higher likelihood of figuring it out, and the Browns match up much better against the Bengals than they do the Ravens. So for that reason, I was rooting for the Ravens because I don't think the Ravens aren't great. Neither team looked great offensively. Both have good defense. It was kind of a combination of both, but not a really impressive game for either team. Part of what you're seeing with the Bengals, I think, is a lack of coaching. They rely a ton on their talent. You're going to have to, their defense is good, right? And, their defensive coordinator does a good job of making a game-centric or a team-centric plan each week for the opponent. The offense just runs the same crap every week where they expect Chase to win one-on-one and Higgins to win one-on-one. And it's they don't scheme up anything and nothing is adjusted for your opponent. At some point, it needs to be more about the X's and O's and less about the Jimmies and Joes, man. It's got to be about That's what it is.
That's a great point. It's funny because I remember my boy Chip Kelly is now 6-0 at UCLA, and they're playing my Oregon Ducks next week. And the winner of that game will probably play in the Pac-12 championship, probably against USC. But it's funny because I remember one time they won, and he rushed the ball 41 times. And they say, is this going to be the new way for you guys to win games? He goes, I don't know. I haven't looked at the opponent's tape yet. We got to adjust week to week. It almost looks like they went to the Super Bowl last year with a formula of getting Chase the ball. Now teams have adjusted, and they haven't adjusted, Brad, to your point.
Yeah, they're just very reliant on the talent. And when you have guys like Marlon Humphrey who can lock up with Chase and they're taking certain things away from him, and they're not coming in with we talked about, a team-centric plan. How are we going to attack the Ravens? Well, we're just going to throw, go balls to Chase and hope he beats the guy on the sideline. Well, that's not good enough.
Well, Lamar Jackson became the fastest quarterback to rush for 4,000 yards. He did this in 63 games. Amarie, everyone's talking about Josh Allen, and rightly so. How do you put Lamar Jackson as an MVP candidate?
No.
Okay. Wow, that was quick.
No.
How can you not say that Josh Allen is not the MVP right
now?
No,
he is right now. Yeah, no, he is right now.
I'm saying Lamar Jackson isn't the MVP.
Yeah, I know. I'm agreeing with you.
No, he's saying to me. I'm saying right now it is
I'm
Josh
agreeing
Allen.
with you.
The turnover king. Gosh, man. And I don't dislike him. I don't have any problem with him. I just don't think he's the MVP. He barely. I don't. He's a
dude. Did you see some of the passes he missed last night?
He missed a lot of passes, but I will say this.
Wide open, guys.
I will say this. They don't really have receivers. I don't know how Mark Andrews is always open.
He wants. playing in the
Does
school-
it matter if he's wide open, butt naked, nobody's 30 yards around him? I mean, all you got to do is just throw it up in the air, man. I mean, how did he miss Tylan Wallace on that one?
Listen, and I will say this. I'm watching the game, and I'm like, okay, it's almost like, like the 1970s Notre Dame Fighting Irish or Oklahoma or Nebraska college football teams. You know they're going to run, and you still can't stop it. You know Lamar Jackson's going to run in that wildcat formation, read RPO run pass option, and they couldn't stop him. Wow, look at this. My dad giving us props. Congrats, guys. One of the best shows of the season.
Oh, thanks, Dad.
All right, thanks. All right, Brad, let's get to it. You are now the leader after last week, Brad. We got 2 games to go. One should be easy. One won't be.
Oh,
1
man.
and 3.
Hold on.
Last week.
We've got to protest.
Amarie, you took the Colts.
Yeah, and they won.
And Thursday you took the.
No, Thursday I took the Colts.
And who'd you take last Monday?
Monday. Tell me what the game was. I can't remember.
We have to
Last
look this
I
up.
can't remember. Anyways,
We're going to the videotape. Hold on. Last month. Oh, you know what? Amarie's winning.
Thank
You
you.
took I'm sorry. You took the Bengals and the Colts. So you are winning because me and Brad took the crappy-ass Russell Wilson Denver Broncos.
Let's ride.
But I took the Bengals.
Right. So she's 1 ahead of you. She's 2 ahead of me.
You're in last place, Monte?
I'm in last place.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so
Doesn't matter how you start, it's how you finish. Here we go. Chiefs, Raiders.
Chiefs.
Brad?
Chiefs.
Okay. Washington at the Bears. Thursday night.
Where are they?
They're
Poor
in
Amazon.
Chicago.
Poor Amazon Prime.
You know what, though? NFL's king because more people are going to tune into that than freaking.
That is true.
Football.
They're in Chicago.
Bears. I'll take the Bears.
This is a game where Washington is so desperate. They might just come in, screw around, and get a win.
Commanders, I'm going for it.
I'm gonna go with the Bears. I'm gonna take the Bears.
What about tonight, Monte?
Tonight, come on. Got Patrick Mahomes. I think it'll be a high-scoring game, but I think it'll be like 37-30. I don't think the Raiders have enough to stop them. And it's going to be interesting because we all saw Mark Andrews last night. I expect Travis Kelce to have 10 catches, 150 yards.
Interesting twist. Not that I think it's enough, but McDaniels, has a lot. Him and Spagnuolo have had a lot of battles. They know each other really well. So
that is true.
Just an
that
interesting
is true from
twist.
his time in New England. Yes, I agree with that. All right, Amarie, tell us how we can follow you, support you, and when do you start your 1 to 3?
I started today.
You did? You didn't even tell me.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, but that's at Part-Time Bro. I'll post it tomorrow.
Okay.
Follow me. I'm on KNML, The Sports Animal, and KKOB News Talk Radio Monday through Friday. And just follow me on social media. I rant a lot.
Brad, when is your next? Amarie, we love having you on. My dad liked your purple outfit to match the purple banner. Thank you, Greg. Brad,
Congratulations, Amarie. So happy for you.
Well deserved. Brad, how can we follow you? How can we support you? When's your next podcast?
Tomorrow night. And then Wednesday night. And then Thursday night, we will have a special guest from the Boston Globe on for a peek into the Browns and the Patriots next week. So,
Brad, you are going to be doing a show while the Cleveland Guardians are playing?
Son of a bitch.
Let me see. Let me check the schedule here.
7:37. My show will be at 7, and it will be over at 7:50. So I'll overlap by like 15 minutes.
No, that's fine. Usually with the pregame and all the stuff going on. Listen, I'm rooting for the Guardians.
Good. You should. They're an easy team to root for.
I can't. It's funny because my brother was asking me who am I going to root for, and unfortunately, I love Mookie Betts. I love Freeman, so I got to root for the Dodgers because I can't root for the Braves or Phillies, who are in my division, and I can't root for the Padres, who just kicked the Mets' ass.
Yeah.
So,
I
but
feel
yeah,
you.
I'm rooting for the Guardians and Seattle and the Dodgers.
I'm sorry about the Mets, Monty. I was pulling for them for you.
They have no alpha dogs, man. They're a good team, not a great team. But you know, it's funny. I was so emotionally invested. I don't get emotionally invested, but by the fourth inning, I was just like, just get it over with. Because all year I've said the same thing. Their 7, 8, and 9 hitters are going to kill them. And you know, people want to fire Buck. He's never been to a World Series. It was a good year, but I got to tell you, Brad, it's frustrating to watch a team all year, especially baseball, which is such a long season, and to get one hit in a game clinching, survive in advance.
It was.
It's just by the fourth inning. Thank God football was on. I changed it.
Yeah, it was hard because, I kept peeking at it and I'm like, damn, Musgrove is dealing. I'm like, come on, get to this guy. And he just had it,
Brad, they got one hit.
I know.
And listen, if this is Randy Johnson, if this is Greg Maddux, I'm all for it. But Musgrove's a good pitcher, but let's be honest. He's not going to go down as an all-time great.
Yeah, it's crazy about playoff baseball. Like somebody said it was like, like watching playoff baseball is like watching a loved one defuse a bomb. Like it's like like every play is so tense. Like every pitch is like.
I love the World Cup because every game matters. I love March Madness and I love NHL hockey because a 1-0 game during the regular season in the NHL, you're falling asleep. But in the playoffs, you're on the edge of your seat because whoever scores next, either they come back or they go up 2-0, game's most likely over. So I love those. I just thought the Mets would, again, I wanted them to come out. And what's so sad is the fans were dying to cheer. They're all there. It's the first time in 6-7 years the Mets have been in the playoffs, and to just go out like that with a whimper, just really frustrating.
Hey, they'll be back next year, right? They're loaded. They got a lot of talent.
They're loaded. They have money, and their farm system has, I think, 7 out of the top 30 players in it, and their farm system was ranked 5th in Major League Baseball. So they're doing the right thing.
They'll be around for a while.
All right, Brad. Love having you on. I'll see you in 2 weeks. I am on vacation next week.
I know you are. Have fun. Enjoy your time off. You deserve it, brother.
Appreciate it, Brad. We'll see you in 2 weeks, man.
All right, guys.
All right, Brad Ward, Amarie, cursing up a storm. What a fun show that was. Again, I want to thank you all for listening. Make sure to give us the thumbs up. Make sure to like and subscribe to the Nuts and Bolts YouTube channel. I will see you in 2 weeks in the immortal words of Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'll be back.